provides a disturbing account of the gambling giant's operations. His shocking suicide mission to Crown Melbourne is being held up as an example of the casino's failure to act on blatant examples of extreme and harmful gambling. Claire Moody reports.
I started playing poker machines when I was 18. My friends would go out clubbing, I would be sort of in the back room playing poker machines, and that's, I guess, where my addiction started.
Mark Robley has been to hell and back. After a 15-year addiction to pokies, he's trying to get his life back on track.
Things well? Yeah, good. Yourself? Okay.
Today, he's visiting his financial counsellor. He's got a tough road ahead. In total, he's blown about $1 million on the pokies, and he's heavily in debt.
I had an addiction to poker machines that I couldn't escape. Everywhere I went, there were poker machines, every pub, every club.
Recently, the 33-year-old's long-term addiction reached its peak. Depressed from the breakup of his marriage, he then lost his job as a supervisor on a West Australian mine site. It was the final straw.
I lost my job on a Thursday up in the mines. I flew back to Perth. By the time I'd landed in Perth, I'd preempted an idea in my head that flying to Melbourne and writing myself off financially was a good idea. So yeah, I did that. I flew over, I stayed at town, Crown Towers over in Melbourne, and I spent every minute I had awake on the gambling floor there, losing my money.
He says he was on a mission to lose everything he had.
I spent my initial savings of about $20,000, then maxed out all my credit cards, then actually increased my limits on all my credit cards, and took out a personal loan. So all up over 3 weeks, about $120,000.
And how frequently were you at the casino during those 3 weeks?
Every day. I think there was a period I was there for 48 hours without leaving the actual gambling floor.
Crown offers punters the chance to self-exclude from its casinos if they know they've got a problem. Mark had already self-excluded from its casino in Perth, but he says that didn't protect him from his Melbourne binge.
They asked me if I wanted access into one of their VIP rooms. I said yes. They took my ID, checked it out, then they realised I was actually self-excluded at the Perth venue, so they've come back to me, said they wouldn't allow access to the VIP room, yet the self-exclusion wouldn't apply to Melbourne, so I could stay on the main floor.
They knew he had self-excluded in Perth, that they knew he had gone there and self-excluded because he was in trouble, picked that up in Melbourne and chose to ignore it. And that's just it's unethical.
Lauren Levine's group represents the country's financial counsellors who deal with the fallout from problem gambling. She's used Mark Robley's case in a submission to the Victorian gambling regulator, calling for the code of conduct that Crown operates under to be strengthened.
Ultimately calling for the legislation to change so that we have stronger regulation with an industry code that's not self-managed, stronger penalties, and I'd like to see a national regulator in the gambling space.
At the launch of Responsible Gambling Week, Victoria's gaming minister said the case was being investigated, but she wouldn't be drawn on whether tighter controls on Crown were needed.
I'm waiting for the VCGLR to finish investigating this. And as a result of that investigation, we'll have a look and see what more we can do.
The case comes after allegations of illegal conduct by Crown and calls for a federal inquiry into the casino industry.
The whistleblowers allege illegal machine tampering
Last week, independent MP Andrew Wilkie tabled video evidence by former Crown staff alleging poker machines were tampered with, as well as claims that the casino turns a blind eye to domestic violence and drug use. Those allegations have been rejected by Crown in full-page newspaper advertisements. But Mark Robley claims to have bought and used drugs inside the casino.
I would rack up a line of cocaine on a poker machine and just snort it, and did that frequently in their VIP room once I had access through a guest. And yeah, I'd just pop ecstasy pills. I'd walk around with a bag of pills in my pocket and just eat them like they were candy.
Crown was approached for an interview but declined. In a statement, a spokesperson said that the matter was being fully investigated. Mark Robley's mission to lose everything didn't stop at gambling. His trip to Crown Melbourne was also a suicide mission.
After I'd spent my last dollar, I'd saved up 40 ecstasy pills to be my undoing. In the end, I took all of those, and unfortunately didn't work. They took me to hospital, and later on that day I walked out of hospital and still wanted to end my life, but I couldn't. Even after doing all that damage to myself, there was something deep inside me that still said, there's more than this.
He's speaking out now to try to get more support for people trying to beat their addictions, and says the casinos need to be accountable.
No, I think it definitely needs to be regulated, so especially the self-exclusion rules. You know, I think that should be national.
Having hit rock bottom, the only way is up.
You know, I've been addicted since I was 18, that's 15 years. And for the first time in my life, I actually have something that stops me thinking that they're actually good and I can win.